Hello, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Meg Moonbeam. And as you can see, I'm here with a very handsome man, my husband Jens, who I like to call Yenzi. How's it going, Yenzi?
I'm good. Hi, everybody.
This is a nice little surprise. I just asked Jens before going live, would you like to join me for this Mars conjunct South Node in Virgo video? Just because I felt like it, and why not? Why not?
Yeah, let's go for the impromptu thing.
Let's go for the impromptu-ness. Is that the word? Impromptu-ness?
I don't know, but people get it.
People get it. So hello. We're going to be talking about this very special aspect that we've got happening exact this weekend, Sunday, July 20th, Mars conjunct the South Node. I'm going to break down what this means for all of us. And before we get into it, I'm sure many of you guys already know that Jens has his book, A World in Transition, available on Amazon. Paperback version. You got some reviews going on there. I don't think I've made a review yet. I got to make a review of your book. What are you working on, Yenzi? What can people expect from you coming up?
Well, I'm working on a course right now. I'm not working on books because, I have other priorities in life. I love working on books, but, the timing needs to be right. I already have the subject of a new book ready, but the timing is not. But I'm working on a course, to heighten your vibration. I really put a lot of effort in that, a few months of effort. So that's going to come out soon. So, and then I'll start writing books again. So that's basically it.
Very cool. I'm very excited for what you've been working on that you're going to be putting out there soon. So we'll do a whole thing on that coming up. And also very excited that I'm going to be hosting tomorrow, Saturday, July 19th, a live lecture on the Age of Aquarius in Akasha's Den in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. It's, we do so much online stuff. We do so much online work, constantly doing our videos and our readings online. It's nice to do things in person. We recently had our in-person retreat that we did, our solstice retreat in Algonquin Park. Yes, Jill. Hi, Jill. Hi, MJ. Hi, Chrissy. It is a nice surprise to have Yenzi here. And I'm excited. Jens is a technical wizard, and he's helping me with the online streaming passes for tomorrow's live lecture. So if you'd like to join in, we've got, I think there's a few in-person spots left, drop-ins. If you want to join us in person to Akasha's Den tomorrow, and online streaming passes available on my website, megmoonbeam.com. We're going to go in depth into what the heck is the Age of Aquarius. What does it mean? How can we prepare? What is an astrological age? What do you think about the Age of Aquarius, Yenzi?
There's a lot to say about it, and I've talked quite a bit about it in my book you just referenced, but I think we're going to see a lot of good, which means community. And some of the things some of the concepts I learned from Meg, and I would have to say some of the concepts I see reflecting back in my own research. So we're going to see a lot of community, a lot of people waking up, a lot of people, escaping the control system, because that's what Aquarius is about. Is that Aquarius can be controlled. They're shifty, like there's nothing set and fixed about it, which is great.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, there's also a darker aspect to it, which we shouldn't be overly focused on, but we should know about. Because if we don't know about it, it's going to catch us in the back. It's going to come in our back, and we got to be like, people say sometimes, don't focus on the dark, focus only on the light. But I like to focus mostly on the light, but we also have to keep an eye on the dark. Because if you don't keep an eye on your shadow, it might catch you in the back, so to speak. It's just metaphor, of course, not to be taken literally. But that's the case with the Age of Aquarius and transhumanism, as Meg so much said in her talks. Is transhumanism is, for me, the most visible aspect of the dark aspect of the Age of Aquarius, where people are going to go totally into that technological evolution, trying to change, which is basically what transhumanism is, trying to change the human being, trying to change natural evolution, get into a technological evolution where we basically become cyborgs. Yeah. And that's a huge subject, which a lot can be said about it. And for me, that is the dangerous aspects of the Age of Aquarius, because of course there's beautiful aspects to it too. Is we're going to get much more enlightened, much more we're going to get much more into community, with like-minded people. We're going to get, there's basically a collective awakening, which is Aquarius, it's like collective. Yeah. So there's a collective awakening. There's also the possibility of a collective hive mind in AI, which they want to, and so it's interesting, these two dichotomies, these two, things that totally do not resonate with each other, but are like polar opposites that I think are going to be playing out in the age of Aquarius.
That was very well said. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you for that. And thank you, Heather, for the super chat. Love you. Thank you guys so much for your support. And wow, thank you, Teresa, so much as well. Teresa says, so nice to see you both tonight. Yeah, it's nice to do things together. And that's what the age of Aquarius is all about as well. Leo, the opposite sign of Aquarius, is self and doing things just to be seen as ourselves, being in the spotlight just for yourself. Whereas Aquarius is about doing things together, like Jan said, in teams, in groups, in community, working together, unity consciousness. So, so important at this time. So today, specifically in this video, I want to share with you guys about this very special, thank you, Jill, for the super chat as well. Love you guys. Thank you. And hello, Steve. You said Steve is watching as well. We miss you guys. We need to come visit you guys soon. We got so much stuff going on, don't we? Once we get settled, we promise we're going to come visit you guys. So, we've got Alberta in the house. Hello, Alberta. So we're having a very special astrological aspect that we're in the influence of this right now. And it's actually going to be exact Sunday, July 20th, 2025, which is Mars conjunct the South Node. Okay. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, what the F is the South Node? What does that even mean? And why is this Mars conjunct the South Node significant? Well, in astrology, we have the South Node, and exactly opposite is the North Node. And these are two of the most important placements in astrology, in my personal astrological opinion. The nodes are not planets or asteroids. These are calculated points where we have the moon's orbit intersects the ecliptic, and this is actually where the eclipses occur. So the South Node is the lunar eclipse point. The North Node is the solar eclipse point. The North Node represents our collective higher purpose, what's in alignment for us to be focusing on. And the South Node in the collective is always the point of letting go, release the past lives. So Mars conjunct the South Node. What do you think, Yenzi, just hearing about that? What do you feel gut level? Yenzi's very psychic. He's my Pisces rising husband. You got your moon, 29 degrees, prophecy degrees. Yenzi is very, very psychic. What do you feel from that, just base level, hearing about me starting to talk about it?
Mars conjunct the South Node. The South Node is about our past as a soul, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's going to be karmic things coming up. That's just what I feel. Mm-hmm. And maybe in a way that is a little bit warring, that is a little bit conflict, because Mars is about, masculine. It's about action. It's also about war, right? Because it's the god of war, right? Mars.
Yes.
That's basically what I know about it. But I feel like there's Mars conjunct in the South Node, there's karmic issues coming up, sometimes with a little bit of, a little bit of conflict, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of warring stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And, it's been what we've seen like on the world stage, right? Of course, like with the Israel thing happening, the Iran thing, we still have war on this planet, which, we shouldn't, but, it's the way it is. We're not going to get rid of it so fast, but I feel like Mars conjunct South Node is not going to get rid of war so quickly, because it might pop up again.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. We can see sometimes, it's very interesting, because Mars conjunct the South Node transits can actually bring up increased war activity, and then it also can bring up decreased war activity, or sometimes wars end with Mars conjunct the South Node. It's interesting that, the dispositor of that conjunction, which is Mercury, the ruling planet of the sign of Virgo, the sign the conjunction is in, we've got Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo. So it's a planet dispositing this conjunction, which is retrograde. So this deals with issues definitely from the past lives, as you said. things that can have to do with war, anger, aggression. What are hidden frustrations that maybe we've been hiding that can just be coming up naturally during this time on the day of the conjunction, the weeks around it, the past week, and the next week as well, that we're ready to let go of. Murdoch asks a really good question in the chat. Hi, Murdoch. He says, how do we identify our karmic past contributors? What do you think about that?
I don't know what Murdoch means with karmic past contributors.
Like, how can you identify if something is actually a karmic past issue? And let us know, Murdoch, if we're not interpreting your question right. But I think what Murdoch is trying to ask is, how do you know if something is actually from a past life versus this life issue?
That's a very deep question. I think it's a very complicated answer, but I think anything that gives you an emotional reaction without a specific reason is a possible identifier for a karmic issue. I'm not saying that it is. It's just like a guide sign. If you have like a very specific reaction to somebody, like for example, people you've known in your past life, and you see a person and you've never known him, but you have a very strong reaction to them, it may be that you know this person from a past life. Not always, because it might just be the energy in the moment. So it's very difficult to weed this out, you know. It might be, but it might not be, because you know, energy clashes sometimes in the moment, and you might not know this person from a past life, but still you have a strong reaction. But on the other hand, if you feel like a strong pull towards somebody, so it's very, honestly, I can't give no straight answer to this, because it's very hard. Because we as emotional beings, we react immediately. We have dislikes and likes, and when we like somebody, we like somebody. When we dislike somebody, and that's a danger in the spiritual community, like especially in relationships. If you feel like an attraction to somebody, and you might immediately say, and I fell into this trap, you know, when I got into it, when I was, you know, reading about past lives, and I just got into spirituality. When I felt an attraction to somebody, I immediately thought, oh my God, like I know her from past life. But that's not necessarily the case. So it's not easy to answer. So even in that field, we have to keep our wits about it. We have to be discerning, because we don't want to be associated with people, or we don't want to give our energy to people we don't want to give our energy to, right? So it's a very good question, and there's no easy answer. I'm honest to be safe. There's no easy answer.
I really resonate with what you're saying. I find when things don't make sense, like a lot of whether it's a relationship or a behavioral pattern or a situation, if it doesn't make sense based off what I know about myself in this life, then it tends to usually maybe be a past life situation. When you're attracted to someone for no reason, that it doesn't even make practical fucking sense at all, or you're attracted to a situation, a lot of times it can have to do with our personal south node, our personal past life, or the collective south node placement. So whatever very good question, Murdoch, thank you for that. So, you know, the north node and the south node, they stay in the same signs for a 1.5 year period. We've been going through North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo since end of January 2025. Mars conjunct the South Node, it doesn't happen that often. It happens, you know, around roughly every 2 years. And you're going to want to look at where you have 19 degrees of Virgo in your personal chart, because this is an area of life you can be going through a very big release or a very big realization about something. Remember that the nodes are all about fate and destiny. These are very big points in astrology. So even though the South Node is about endings and releases, it's also about our fate, our purpose, what's in alignment. So we can get very big clarity about things. Whatever house you have 19 degrees of Virgo, and any planets you have within 5 degrees of 19 degrees of Virgo can be very, very activated right now. So yeah, as Jens said earlier, Mars has to do with war, anger, aggression. Mars also rules men, leadership, divine masculine, military. Let us know in the comments, you guys, what do you know that Mars rules in astrology? I always like to make these videos interactive. And the South Node is a loss of energy, an ending, a release. So actually Mars is not really in a super powerful position when he's conjunct the South Node. So it's kind of weird sometimes. And I think it's maybe depending on all the rest of the other things going on astrologically. But most of the time, for the most part, we can actually see maybe war conflict coming to an end collectively with Mars conjunct the South Node. Based off your spidey senses, Yanzi, based on the geopolitical situation right now, are there any wars or geopolitical issues that you feel like, with your very good psychic senses, might be coming to a close? Or do you feel like what we've got going on in the Middle East, what we've got going on in Ukraine, what we've got going on with other situations, do you feel like those are going to last for a longer period?
Well, I don't like to make war predictions because I love to say that all war is going to end, right? So, true to be said, I love there is no war, right? But if I have to honestly make a guess, I feel like the Israel-Iran war is not finished. And I feel like, and I don't say this out of, like I want there to be war, like again, but I feel like the Israel-Iran thing is not finished. And I think it's going to flare up again at one point. I don't know why, but I have that feeling. So I may be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling this was just like a beginning, like back and forth. But I feel like it may flare up again because this thing is not finished yet. I feel like in the energy too, because there's so many levels going on. There's true levels of, you have the global manipulation level. The people behind the scenes that want to manipulate things for wars to go on, for to sell guns, to sell weapons, because war is big business, right? I know that this quote from a general in the Second World War that says war is a racket. So it's basically a hoax perpetrated. But on the lower levels, you have real karmic issues there. Also in the Middle East, there's a lot of karmic issues in the Middle East. People hating each other. Like Gaza and Israel. So I feel like with Iran and Israel, I don't think it's the end of it. And I hope I'm totally wrong. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be negative. Just reading into the energy, and I hope I'm wrong. But I think that might flare up, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting because I said that in my video that I did like a month ago on Iran, Israel, USA astrology. I also said I want to be wrong about this, but there is astrological potential for there to be a bit of a flare-up, which I'm not saying will lead into a war, but it possibly flaring up again. So hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have any wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So yeah, Mars conjunct the South Node. Now in the sign of Virgo, Virgo is all about health, wellness, our routines, day-to-day work, cleanliness, purity. Okay. So we're going through this South Node in Virgo transit since end of January and until the end of July 2026, where we're letting go of Virgo qualities that no longer serve us. Okay. So the shadow side of Virgo has to do with being over perfectionistic, over controlling, and over critical. So this Mars conjunct South Node aspect is inviting us to let go of over criticism, where we're trying to be too much of a perfectionist, health issues, time to really look at health issues that maybe need to be dealt with. And collectively, some of the positive of this, one of my predictions with this is we could have within the portal of this Mars conjunct South Node in Virgo, or actually within the next month or two, because sometimes aspects happen and then we see the fallout a month or two after, depending on what it is. I think a big prediction of this is certain health issues coming to an ending. And I'm very excited because we've been going through the eclipses on the health axis, North Node and South Node in Pisces and Virgo, the health axis. And, we've got the Make America Healthy Again movement. I know there's things going on all over the world, but the United States does have a very good influence, or very big influence rather, over the whole world. And we've now got RFK Jr. in the administration doing MAHA, which, if you guys have read the MAHA report which they put out recently, I read this whole thing because I'm a total nerd when it comes to this stuff. At the end of it, it says that by August 2025, they will for sure know the reason for the childhood chronic disease epidemic. So that's pretty soon after the portal, getting close to the next eclipse season in that health axis, after this Mars conjunct Virgo. There's so many things astrologically showing we're about to have huge breakthrough in the health field of life. And I think there's no coincidence that we've got the MAHA movement, RFK Jr., what do you personally think, Yenzi, about what's going on with MAHA, RFK Jr. at the moment?
Well, it's also a very
And just love you just saying we're on YouTube, so be mindful that we're on YouTube.
I'll be mindful. Yeah, it's a very good question, because I really like RFK. I went to see him in Brussels, and we were actually driven back by, tear gas and water cans. So I physically wanted to see him, and we were driven back. That was, in the Corona times. I think that's good for YouTube. But yeah, I think what I've seen from MAHA, I really like what RFK is trying to do, but I feel like he's meeting a lot of resistance. And honestly, I am also questioning if he's not being compromised, because we know RFK wants to be president, right? Because he ran for president. So in my opinion, what I'm feeling is he went with Trump to hope to become president later. And I don't think that's like far-fetched, right? Because if you're like a guy like RFK, you want to be president, and he has a right to be president because he comes from the Kennedy family. So he has that karmic backing behind him. That's why I support him, because JFK, he had his faults too, but he was doing good things. That's why probably they offed him. So I think it's in the karmic plan, or I would say plan, the karmic destiny. That's better said. The karmic destiny of the USA that RFK is going to be president. But I think to do that, he has to really tone down and really. And I remember one thing he said is like, before he went to the Trump side, he said, "I prayed." And that really caught my attention. He said, "I prayed over this. Should I go to the Republicans?" I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And I could feel he meant it. But now he's promoting what I don't like. He's promoting, for example, with the MAHA movement, these, how would you call this? These wearables, like not implantables yet, but wearables like health trackers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, and he's surrounded. I saw him surrounded by these companies who want the data, who want the health data, because they can make a lot of money from it. If you have the life health data from these monitors, like if people wearing a heartwatch, you can make especially with AI, you can analyze the data. Data is the new gold. As you've all seen with social media, data is the new gold. So I feel like these companies are surrounding him to really get to the data. And I feel like he has to compromise in a way to want to become president. Now, how much do you have to compromise until you sell yourself out? And that's the issue I have with RFK. Is he compromising himself to the point he's selling himself out? And I don't know, but what I saw, him promoting wearable trackers, I don't like it. So it's an open question for me. So I think that's my personal opinion of what is going on.
Well, okay, interesting. Yeah, I never even thought, well, I did do a video last year on the astrology of RFK Jr., and I do think that he is highly astrologically possible of becoming the next president, for sure, or continuing his work within the next administration, whoever's going to be the president. And yeah, he's very passionate about saving the children, making the children healthy again. And that's also a very big theme of this Mars conjunct South Node in Virgo, with the dispositor Mercury in Leo. Retrograde Leo has to do with children. So this conjunction is in Virgo, a lot about health regarding children. We're going to be having this as a very, very big theme. What has been affecting the children? And don't know if you remember, Yenzi, but Del Bigtree? Del Bigtree, this was like a couple months ago or something. There was a video circulating online, and I shared it on one of my daily astro shows, where he said that end of August or within August, September, RFK Jr. is going to be doing a press conference talking about what's been going on with the you-know-what shots and how that has been causing the autism epidemic and childhood, part of the really big reason of the childhood chronic disease epidemic. So we'll see about that. Don't think Del Bigtree is lying about that. But we're definitely in this portal of influence where so much is going to be revealed health-wise. And I think with the positive aspect of Mercury in sextile to Venus, and Mercury is the dispositor of this conjunction, Venus is a great benefic, there can be good news, Venus and Gemini, good news regarding health, regarding maybe certain diseases being cured, a cure coming forward, something that can be miraculous. So This is truths about health coming up in the collective. I think amazing innovations with health coming up. And Leo in particular, you know, Mercury retrograde in Leo, dispositing, has to do with Leo ruled areas in medical astrology, the heart, circulation, the hair, back, and spine. Very, very interesting that in the portal of this Mars South Node conjunction, we've got the news that President Trump diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. To the best of my knowledge, other than when Trump got COVID, which personally I don't even believe in, but I don't know if I can say that on YouTube or not. But anyways, other than that, I've never heard of him having a major health issue. So it's interesting that as we're in the portal of this conjunction, we're hearing Trump diagnosed with this health issue. We may be hearing more of kind of issues that have to do with the heart, circulation, hair, back, and spine within the portal of this conjunction, and maybe healing modalities or cures having to do with issues of this area. How to work with this Mars conjunct South Node transit. Two main things that I would suggest for you guys. Number one, it's a great time. Oh, Linda's saying Venus. Is that the right way of pronouncing it? Okay, thank you. Linda's always got my back. Thank you, Linda. Two of, I think, the biggest suggestion ways to work with this transit would be, number one, great time to cleanse and clean your physical body, office spaces, and day-to-day spaces. Number two, creating positive new health routines and taking action on them. Mars conjunct the South Node, taking action on our health and our routines, what serves us and what doesn't. We are physically and mentally releasing a lot that no longer serves us on deep levels. This is my main astrological prediction. So as we're in the portal of this Mars South Node conjunction, this is a huge releasing and cleansing portal. Yenzi, whenever we've got big transits, whether it's a full moon or an aspect like this, where it's about cleansing and release, what kind of things do you like to suggest to do when we're in times of great release? How do you like to work with that?
Well, the way I like to work with that is just doing deep inner work, actually, basically doing inner work that cleanses. That can go from, you know, deep meditations to deep breathing, because you got to work with the energy, right? You got to ride the wave like a surfer who rides the wave. Is you don't stand up on your paddleboard when you're, you know, in front of the wave. You stand up when you're almost catching the wave. So it's the same art and spirituality, basically, if you're tuning into the energies of the moment. And for me, when you ask, when you're doing deep work, is just go deep, you know, do deep meditations, do deep breathing. For me, for example, deep breathing is a very, because our breath is our you know, connection to life. If you don't breathe for 3 minutes, you die. If you don't breathe for 1 minute, you probably, you know, you fall unconscious. And then so breathing is the most important thing, even more important than food and water. It's our connection to life. So for me, deep breathing is bringing consciousness into the body and bringing, you know, unconscious patterns to the surface. And, you know, that goes in the right time. You can't force that. You just got to let the breathing do its work, so to speak. And for me, that's one of the biggest parts of my deep healing journey is breathing. There's others, of course, but I would say to people, if you feel like you're in, and you got to follow your own intuition in this. If you feel like you're in a space, and your intuition will tell you, right? If you're like having people over for vacation and there's 10 people staying at your house, okay, you're not going to do that. Of course, you got to be smart. You're not going to want to do deep healing when there's, you know, you have guests over. You got to follow the natural rhythms of your life. Like when I'm traveling, like I'm in Canada right now, I don't do the deep healing because I'm staying in other people's places. There's just no way to do it really, because you know, you're busy the whole time. But when I'm in Belgium, I do that. So follow your own rhythm, and I just say, you know, follow what you really like and follow your intuition and follow what you feel is deep for you, and I think that will bring you a lot of benefits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're so wise. Every time you talk, can't believe it. Sagittarius wisdom. Yeah. So also with this conjunction, you know, Virgo rules work, day-to-day work, office spaces, scheduling. South Node is about, again, endings and releases. So I think within the portal of this conjunction, we could see major changes of endings of certain work hour schedules / work fields, Virgo's about work. What do you feel like are some fields of work that might be coming to an end? You know, we got a lot of AI coming in, a lot of innovation coming in. Are there certain areas where you're feeling like people might actually not be working in those roles moving forward?
Well, like you said, you know, with AI, it's going to be a big revolution. Like I compare it to, like, you know, when we went from horses to cars. All the, you know, it's so long ago we don't remember anymore. But all the people who have all the economics that was based around horses that went just that was gone. You know, it just became a very small business, and everything went to cars. So that was a big revolution. And you know, I hate to say it, the same thing is going to happen with AI. We're going to have a real revolution in the way services are being, you know, lent to people. Services are being deployed. You know, some jobs are really gonna go. I think in some fields, 90% of jobs are gonna be gone because AI is gonna take over.
90%?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because AI is gonna be better at doing it in the end. Because let's be honest, you know, I compare it to playing chess. You know, humans used to be better at chess than computers, but since 1997, you know, with the popularized deep blue thing, computers became better at chess. They just became better. So if chess would be a commercial activity, computers would be doing it. And it's going to be the case for a lot of things. Some commercial activities, computers, AI will be better at doing it. So it will be taken over. Of course, there will be exceptions, and there will be people who value the, you know, the human connection. Just like, you know, some people like more the music of the 60s because it was organic, and some people like more the electronic music. Like I like the music of the 60s because there was no computers there. And some people I like some electronic music, but generally I like more the music of the 60s. So I think the same thing is going to happen to a lot of fields, and not only music, that comparison I made, but a lot of fields in our society. So it's a change we're going to have to live with. You know, like you said, we're going to the age of Aquarius. It's going to happen. It's going to like just to close. I've people I know, their daughter was a translator, and her job has been completely taken over by AI. She said, "Yeah," and they're angry at AI because my daughter lost her job because she was a translator, and now AI translates better than any human does. It's just a fact. AI, you know, for commercial purposes, for, you know, huge translations, bulk translations, AI does the job better. And you only have you need to have where you used to have 100 people translating. Now you only have 10 to check the AI to, you know, to have the last human say, which I think is good. So it's changing, and there is no other way.
Yeah, definitely. Linda says, I listen to 60s Gold on Sirius XM all the time. Well, I don't know about AI editors, but Linda is the best human editor I've ever met. Linda catches all my mistakes, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, very well said. So work fields, our jobs being very affected by this huge societal changes. Well, at the same time of this Mars conjunct South Node, we've got Uranus now in Gemini, 0 degrees. So we're moving forward into the future. This very much has to do with the future. A few more things I want to share with you guys. Don't want to make tonight's video too long. It's kind of cool to do it later, to do a later video.
Well, I'm used to doing it late because when I'm in Belgium, the shows are always late.
Yeah, well, we're in Canada right now. But one of my other predictions with this is we can possibly see the ending of a significant, powerful leader. South Node ending, Mars, leaders, politicians. So we might see a world leader lose their power around this Mars conjunct South Node. Also, with this being, disposited by Mercury retrograde in Leo, Leo has to do with concerts, places where we have fun, festivals. And what did we just have? I think this was just yesterday. Major accident at Tomorrowland, which is a festival in Belgium that happens at their freaking main stage completely went up in flames. On fire. So I want you guys to be really careful if you're going to any concerts, festivals, theaters, vacation areas, even children or teenager related areas. I know that sounds really creepy, and I want to be wrong about this, but all those areas are ruled by the sign of Leo, where there can be more of a propensity for issues, accidents, even possible attacks. Mars can be attacked. So I don't want anything like that to happen, but just saying, please be really careful in Leo ruled areas. Also, Jamaica is a 13-degree Leo country. So that Mercury retrograde is right on the sign of Jamaica right now. If you're in Jamaica, shout out to all our Jamaicans. Love Jamaicans. But just be really careful out there in Jamaica over the course of this Mercury retrograde and this Mars conjunct the South Node. Have you ever been to the Tomorrowland Festival?
No, I have not. Actually, one of the few festivals in Belgium, but I have done. And can you bring up the tweet again? Because I saw something.
Yeah.
I saw here Metallica was generous enough to lend their entire worldwide tour stage rig that was nearby in Austria. So basically, Tomorrowland is one of the most famous festivals in Belgium. Like people all over the world for electronic music fly over there. You know, it's just crazy. It's one of that's why it was world news, because it's one of the most famous festivals in the world in Belgium, all over the world. And I think it's cool that Metallica lent their stage rig that was nearby to help them out, because you know it again shows the age of Aquarius, right?
Yeah.
Like people coming together, community. And it's funny because I was just talking about electronic music and rock and more organic music. I consider Metallica a little bit more organic than electronic music, but they helped them out. So
yeah.
That's like the age of Aquarius. So it's cool to see, actually.
That is very cool to see. The rockers helping out the electro people.
Yeah. One thing I want to say though, if this would happen at a rock concert, like if the whole stage would burn down, I don't think like Tomorrowland. So this fire happened 2 days ago, and they've now rebuilt the main stage in just one day, which is crazy. I mean, kudos to them. It shows their resilience, and they're gonna get a lot of fame from this. I mean, it shows the resilience of the Belgian stage organizers. But if this would happen at a rock concert, it would not be as easy, I think, because at a rock concert you have like bands with multiple instruments, and Tomorrowland is a DJ festival, so you only have one laptop you need to connect. But I think if the stage, for example, of Graspop were to burn down, and Graspop is one of the also Belgians are known for their festivals, one of the most famous festivals, metal festivals in the world. I don't think you could do it in one day, because if you have to have multiple bands and multiple instruments. But kudos to them, it's really well done.
Yeah, very, very cool. And speaking of concerts, Leo rules concerts. And did you know that the sign of Leo rules affairs?
No.
Okay, affairs being exposed at a concert. Literally, the astrology shows everything that's happening. If you guys have not seen this is freaking hilarious. Yenzi, I think you know a little bit more of the backstory of this. Do you want to explain what the heck this is for people that don't know?
Yeah, I think most people have seen it, right? Because it's the CEO of a famous company involved in not astrology, but in cosmic things, like like looking at the stars, like very scientific. So this is the CEO, and they've been caught on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert, and Chris Martin, the singer of Coldplay, was like, "Oh, what's that couple there?" And then they act like that, and everybody knew they were having an affair, and now it's been blown up all over the internet. There's like memes everywhere. And, he even issued a statement, and he said that it was the funniest thing. He even said, this was a private moment. But, how can it be a private moment if you go with your mistress to a public concert?
Oh,
I mean, it's crazy. It's just funny.
And it's so funny because it's instant karmic repercussions, South Node, regarding Virgo ruled areas, Leo ruled areas, because the dispositor of Mercury is in Leo, affairs, right? So if you're having an affair out there and you think you can go to a concert this weekend, you'll probably get put on the cam, or a photo of you will be taken. So it's like we're getting these karmic, instant karma is the right saying. So it's crazy how I love paying attention to what's going on in the world, because it's always reflected in the astrology. And Virgo, they work together. It's a boss-employee relationship being exposed through a sexual affair. Crazy. I also did a little bit of Scorpio research, creepy research, you guys, and I found that with this Mars South Node conjunction, it is almost exactly conjunct the midheaven of Jeffrey Epstein. So crazy. So this is Jeffrey Epstein's chart. Jeffrey Epstein's midheaven, which is the top of his chart, the start of his 10th house of public reputation, being seen publicly, career, legacy. 18 degrees of Virgo, this Mars South Node conjunction is at 19 degrees of Virgo. And of course, Jeffrey Epstein is very much being publicly talked about at the moment. I know it's a very heated issue. What do you think is coming with this Jeffrey Epstein situation? These files, we want the files released. That's what I have to say. I want the files released. I'm done with waiting. I want truth. I want things out in the open. Release the names. That's what I have to say about it.
It's you know, it's very difficult. There's so much to it, and I could say so much about it. But one thing I will say about it is I feel it's a little bit weird that it's coming up now.
Yeah.
And I think Trump may be set up to take the fall. And like, you know, like they were reporting on that he has a disease, like you said earlier. And I think nothing in the media is by accident. So because a president runs on image, runs on how people perceive him. So any news that says that the president has some kind of a disease will, in the eyes of the public, weaken his position a little bit. Because the president of the United States is seen as, especially Trump, is seen as like the alpha male, you know, the leader. And so like we saw with Biden, you know, who fell off the stairs when he got off a plane, who was obviously, you know, dementia, who had dementia. But they didn't admit it, but they showed it to the world. And now with Trump, it's like, oh, Trump is getting sick. Of course, he's an 80-year-old man. And he, you know, suddenly he's losing his position because he doesn't want to release the Epstein files for some reason. I'm not going to go into why, but I feel like his position is being weakened, either natural or either organically or either on purpose. And I, you know, I'm just going to throw it out. I feel like J.D. Vance might come in, and J.D. Vance is of course controlled by Peter Thiel. And Peter Thiel is head of the Bilderberg, and the Bilderberg is no good. I mean, I wrote about the Bilderberg in my book. I could say a lot about it, but it's the Bilderberg is no good. So I feel like maybe they're, you know, deploying some change in the leadership of the United States in the coming years, in coming maybe 2 years, where Trump is going to get, you know, if Trump goes, J.D. Vance, the vice president, has to come in. So I feel like that might be a possibility. I could be totally wrong, of course, but you know what I'm seeing, like Trump is being sick. Normally they wouldn't do that because they know that the president of the United States has to present a strong image. He has to be strong. Anything that distracts from that strong, they don't want that, unless they want it, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of skeptical about it.
Yeah. Well, there's so much in the collective astrology and also in Jeffrey Epstein's charts. I think major things are going to get revealed having to do with these files, this whole situation. And this is really, I keep hearing the universe say, a make it or break it moment for the Trump administration. If we do not get these files released, if we do not get the truth around this, there's no going back because they're about to lose so much of their base, right? So I like that I'm seeing that the astrology is supportive of that Jeffrey Epstein information coming out in the collective in his personal chart. Interesting. We've also got P. Diddy, who is still in jail. Okay. Yes, he did get, I'm having a brain fart. Yes, he did get away with some of the more serious charges, but he still did get charged for some of his crimes. He is still in jail. We're waiting to hear how long he's exactly going to be staying in jail for. We're going to be learning that pretty soon. This is freaking wild. So Jeffrey Epstein has this Mars South Node conjunction right on his midheaven. Thank you, Linda. The right word is acquitted. And P. Diddy has this conjunction exactly conjunct his South Node. So he's having an exact nodal return with this Mars South Node conjunction. P. Diddy, okay, this is karma being paid. The nodes are about our karma. It's about our destiny and our fate. So I'm seeing both these situations, the Epstein situation and the P. Diddy situation in trial. These guys aren't getting away with it. This is still in the limelight astrologically. These are two situations that are not just going away and they're getting away with it and everyone involved with it is getting away with it. I'm seeing this as major breaking news, information, revelations continuing to be shared, Mercury retrograde in Leo, with both of these people, what they were involved in, among other big subjects that are going to come out as well. anything that you want to comment having to do with the P. Diddy trial?
I haven't really followed it, but I think it's surprising that he got off quite lightly, right? He didn't get the big charges. So
Yeah.
again, is there like, still some influence on the judicial system where they, don't give, like, we watched the documentary yesterday of Tucker. No, what's not a documentary?
Tucker
Tucker Carlson, the interview.
podcast. Yeah.
And they were going really deep into the Epstein story, and it's crazy how Epstein was caught for basically pedophilia in 2004.
I don't think you can say that word on YouTube.
Okay. But, well, and
Be careful.
so it's crazy that he got caught on that and that he got acquitted. So, and even the historian and Tucker Carlson were saying it's crazy because there's class. It's a class system. If you're like rich and powerful, you can get away with it. Like they gave him like the lightest sentence for like 40 witnesses, 40 young girls who came forward for the P word. And, it's just crazy how you can get, and I really like watching Tucker Carlson going deep, doing deep dive on that, because it's insane, how you can get away with it if you're basically rich and connected. And it shows that, this deep state. Sometimes I'm wondering how much of the deep state is still left, because we're hearing the conflicting stories, right? The deep state is being fought, the deep state is still there. But how I think it's interesting. So
yeah, did we watch all of this podcast?
I think we watched like 2 hours.
I feel like we watched most of it. Yeah, Daryl Cooper on the Tucker Carlson podcast. That was really, really good. At times, it was a little bit, felt like he was talking about, I don't know, stuff that didn't really relate, but really good information on Epstein's backstory for sure. And it's undeniable. With that situation, it's undeniable that massive amounts of powerful people were involved. And we, the people, deserve to know this information. We need to, not even deserve, we need the truth to be able to move forward. How are we going to move forward from this slave system until we know the exact names of everybody involved that has been doing really nefarious things on the absolute highest level? So this is a really, really big deal. Anything you want to add before we finish up? I think I brought my main points up. Does anybody have any questions for us regarding this Mars conjunct South Node in Virgo, regarding anything we talked about? Is there anything else you want to bring up? What do you think?
No, I think we're gonna be in crazy times, with the whole. You're doing your Aquarius lecture tomorrow, and I think it's gonna be even crazier than the times before with Aquarius.
Yeah,
but that's what we signed up for. Right? I believe we as souls, we came here fully knowing what we can expect. Maybe not the details, because there's a lot of adventure out there, and maybe maybe it's not exactly. I don't think our life paths are exactly carved out exactly as we like it, because that would be boring, right? So we're here for the adventure, but we know what to expect in a general sense, right? Like next is with the Age of Aquarius, as souls, before you incarnate, you're probably very tuned into it, that you're going to incarnate in an energy that's going to be changing, that you're going to incarnate in a world that's going to be going through immense changes. So I think that's probably exciting as souls. So that's why we came in here. Let's go. I don't have a bad feeling about the future. I have a really positive feeling about the future, but we need to be aware of both the good and the dark sides that are, the pitfalls that are challenging us.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of the Age of Aquarius, if you'd like to join in for my live lecture I'm doing tomorrow, all about the Age of Aquarius, tickets are available on my website, megmoonbeam.com, for online streaming passes, and akashasden.com for in-person tickets. We've still got a few in-person tickets, and that's going to be live tomorrow. You can follow Jens. Jensi, your social media is booming. You've got over 40,000 people now following you on Facebook. You got almost 10,000 on Instagram. How do you do it? What are you doing? What's the secret sauce?
I don't know. I don't have a secret sauce. I just do my own thing. So
you're sharing the truth, and it's attracting people. So if you'd like to go follow Jens, he's got his social media, Jens Pateu, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
X, and that's basically it,
X. Have you got Rumble?
yeah. I do, but I don't post often.
You got a
I should post more often on Rumble.
You've got your YouTube. YouTube.
Yeah, my YouTube. But I actually got demonetized on YouTube because I was a naughty boy. I said some things they didn't like, and they demonetized me, but whatever. You know, that comes with the territory.
Crazy. Yeah, and your book, A World in Transition, available on Amazon. I don't know why I'm doing that voice, but okay. So yeah, thank you for joining me for this live stream, Yenzi. And thank you everyone for joining us. Somebody said, who was it just a little bit ago? Said, was it MJ? Yeah, MJ said, this is fun. Feels like a fireside chat with friends. Yeah, always fun to join you guys or to be here for this live stream. And we love you all very, very much. Wishing you an absolutely magical weekend. Times ahead. Mars conjunct the South Node in Virgo. Be very gentle with your body. Our physical health is going to be very affected. And remember, very big release portal. So love you all very, very much. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channels. And we'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.